Hi loves, and welcome to this week's episode of Homemade Kitchen. As always, I'm your host, Love Deepa. On today's episode, we're gonna be doing Asian-inspired stoned noodles. Now, you might be asking, what's a stoned noodle? Well, in summertime, we have this amazing season called stone fruit season. Now, if you don't know about stone fruit includes cherries, plums, peaches, nectarines, apricots, all those beautiful fruit with that stone or that pit in the center. I love stone fruit season, and it's my favorite way of getting stoned. So today, we're gonna use that stone fruit to make a really beautiful sweet and little tangy sauce for our noodles and veggies. Let's go over to the veggies and see what we have today. I don't plan anything, which is both horrendous and beautiful. Okay, so the countertop may look a little busy. It's because I have a lot of bowls and quite a few ingredients today. But for somebody like me who has a lot of food allergies, I still crave my carbs. I still crave my noodles. Something that I love experimenting with is going to different markets. I went to the Asian market that's locally in LA, and I found these amazing purple sweet potato noodles. So there's literally 3 ingredients. It's just sweet potato starch, purple sweet potato powder, and water. So for someone like me who has sensitive stomach, these are a godsend. So I'm so excited to share these with you today. Please check out your local markets. You will find a ton of little gems there. We're gonna boil water and we're gonna get the noodles going. We have the oven preheating because we're gonna use today something called pumpfu, which is a pumpkin seed tofu. Now, I can't do soy and I can't actually eat pumpkin seed right now, but generally I love pumpkin seed and this is a great one. So we're gonna use that in place of tofu. If you can handle soy, tofu's fine, or if you have a different choice of protein, feel free to use it. And then for the veggies, we're gonna be pretty simple today. We're gonna be doing some fresh cabbage because that's in season. I have some shredded carrots and these beautiful spring onions, and of course my favorite, avocado. So first we're gonna get started on the sauce. Full disclosure, I've never actually made this recipe before. It was totally just inspired by a dream, and I kept thinking, man, I wish I could have some noodles and sauce, and most of the bottled sauces I can't have. So we are actually going to make our sauce from scratch. That's gonna be our first step because we want that sauce flavor to really meld together while the veggies and the noodles cook. First, we're gonna get our stone fruit. Now, I happen to have 3 nectarines, a peach, and a plum. That's just what I have, so I'm using them. You can use fruit that's been sitting on your counter a little too long and that might be a little too ripe. This is a great way to repurpose it. So is also making your own homemade jam, but that's saved for another time. We're gonna cut up the fruit. We're gonna get it in the pan with some spices just to get it sauteing. The main notes of the sauce are gonna be the fruit, some ginger, and some coconut aminos, which is gonna take the place of our soy sauce for that little bit of salty and sweet. And then for the spice, we're gonna use ginger and white pepper. Let's get started. Okay, so first things first, we are going to process the pumpfu the way we want to. And pumpfu is just like tofu, very similar texture. The cool thing is it has a slightly nuttier flavor. It is also pressed in water, like so. We're gonna take the pumpfu and we're just gonna press it out a little bit. Just wanna get the excess moisture out so it will brown up nicely. And then we're gonna cut it. So now we have the pumpfu chopped up, and I'm gonna give it a little drizzle of coconut aminos, just so it has some flavor. Just like tofu, it's not gonna be very seasoned. We're gonna put some powdered ginger. I'm gonna put a little bit of this beautiful Celtic gray salt. You can use any salt that you have available. I like this stuff. We're gonna use a little swipe of avocado oil, tiny bit of turmeric for some pretty yellow color. I'm gonna do some onion powder. We don't want it to be really strong, but we want to put just a touch of garlic powder. Give it a nice little stir. So we're gonna take this over to our sheet pan, which I've already pre-lined with parchment paper. Nice thing about parchment paper is you don't always have to treat it with oil depending on what you're making. With this tofu, I don't have to worry about it. All right, and then this is gonna go in the oven. 375 degrees for about 20 to 30 minutes. So we're gonna get started on breaking down the stone fruit. First, I'm gonna turn my stove on really low heat just to get a little bit of oil warming up. So we're gonna be pureeing this, so it doesn't really need to be perfect chunks. We just wanna get a rough cut, and I'm just gonna start putting it in the pan as I cut it. It's just to get a nice little saute and cook off a little bit of the water that is in this fruit. Okay, so now we have all the stone fruit cooking on medium to low heat. I'm just gonna cook off some of this water, and while we do that, we're gonna shred some fresh ginger right onto the stone fruit. We're gonna cook some of the ginger, and the rest of the ginger is gonna be raw in the sauce. I wish you could smell this kitchen. I'm gonna do about an inch piece. As that ginger warms up, its flavor is coming out too. And we are going to put a tiny bit of onion. Tiny bit of garlic. Tiny bit of ume plum vinegar. Now you can use any vinegar you want. I'm using this one because I want to stick with the stone fruit flavors, but I still want a little bit of vinegar. And I'm going to do the juice of half of a lime. Turn the heat down. We're just going to let this simmer. So we cooked the beautiful stone fruit down, and now we're going to stick it in the blender. And then to that, we are going to add coconut aminos. So we have the warm stone fruit mixed with the ginger and some of the coconut aminos. I'm gonna take actually another chunk of ginger, maybe just about a 1-inch piece. We can try it. A little more lime juice, so about the other half of the lime. A little bit of salt, just a pinch, because we've got that coconut aminos in, which has that salty flavor. We're gonna actually add a little bit of avocado oil to be an emulsifier. And we're gonna add some dulse, which is a type of seaweed that is in the Atlantic. It's really amazing. It's supposed to be one of the best foods to help pull heavy metals out of the body, and nutritionally is great. Doesn't really have tons of flavor, just is kind of salty. So again, that's why we didn't put as much salt in. We have salt in multiple different ways. I'm gonna put a little bit more onion powder, now that it's not on heat. And for a little heat, we're gonna put a little white pepper. Now, white pepper does taste pretty spicy, but it goes really well with fruit. So we're gonna put that together. And then we're gonna blend this and see where we're at. No idea what's gonna happen. We're either gonna have a really tasty sauce or a really weird tasting jam. Smells really good. Let's go get a spoon. I've never tasted a sauce like this before. It's like tart and a little sweet. Definitely actually needs more salt, which I'm surprised. A little more heat. We're gonna work with this. And I think I'm actually gonna add some hemp seed, which is one of the few seeds I can eat, into the sauce. Another little nubbin of ginger. About, let's say, 3 more tablespoons of soy sauce. And when I say soy sauce, I really mean coconut aminos, but I use them interchangeably because to me, they taste very similar. I have some organic hemp seed, 2 tablespoons, and put it in here. A little pinch of the Celtic salt. All right, let's give it a blend and see what happens. Oh my God. Okay, that's the sauce. I wish I could literally send this through the camera so you could try this. It's bomb. We're gonna put the sauce aside. We're gonna start on our vegetables and our noodles. I'm going to prep those beautiful spring onions that I got from the market. We're gonna get this pan nice and warm. We're gonna add a little bit of avocado oil, just enough to coat the bottom. And since the veggies are gonna take less than 10 minutes to cook, we wanna come over here where the water is. And now that it's coming to a boil, while the oil is heating and the noodles are cooking, we can check on the tofu and ooh, that's perfect. Get these onions into the hot oil. And we're just gonna brown them. I'm gonna reach into the little spice container and just grab a tiny bit of mustard seed and just a touch of fresh turmeric. We're gonna add the cabbage. Now the cabbage is going to be a little crunchy in the noodle dish, so we want it to char, but we don't want it to overcook, so we don't want it to become limp. We are going to add a little ginger, since that's one of our major flavors. A little white pepper. Now we're going to add in some carrots and some spinach. So I already have some pre-shredded carrots. I'm gonna take a handful of this beautiful fresh spinach from the market. Just give it a little rough chop. So we're gonna put just a little bit of salt. So we have these beautiful purple sweet potato noodles, which I don't know if you can see them, but they're this lovely purpley gray color. We're gonna add a little bit of our stoned sauce. Give those noodles a little whirl. We have this beautiful cabbage, spinach, and carrot combo. That beautiful pumpkin seed tofu. And I wanted to add an extra creamy element, so I thought I have this luscious, beautifully ripe avocado, so why not? And then finally top it off with some, you guessed it, hemp seed. And voila, stoned veggie noodles. And don't forget, the secret ingredient, you guessed it, always love.